Welcome to the Verdin Verdict Sports Show. I'm your host, Jacob Verdin. Hope everybody had a good weekend. It's Monday. Got a couple of news headlines for you that we're going to break down. Charlie Weis Jr. being one of the biggest ones, quite frankly. The Philadelphia Eagles tried to go hire our guy, our offensive coordinator, after his run with Ole Miss in the playoffs. It's expected. It's a compliment, if you will. Obviously, Jordan Seaton signed with LSU. We'll break that down, implications, how that came to be, overall reactions, and then his last-minute spring ball audible, if you will. Talk LSU women's basketball, LSU men's basketball, and we'll talk the Super Bowl and some LSU players that will be representing in it. So, first thing this morning, Diana Rossini tweets, LSU offensive coordinator Charlie Weis Jr. spoke to the Philadelphia Eagles about their offensive coordinator vacancy, but informed the team he has chosen to remain with Lane Kiffin. First, this is a very good indication that you have a great coach at your offensive coordinator spot. Lane Kiffin's staff will always, at least there'll be an attempt to try to poach them. And LSU's kind of had experience with this. I mean, you can go back as recent as last season with Blake Baker. You've had a great defense for 2 years under him. He's had a great defense at Mizzou and other previous destinations for him. His name was hot. Tulane tried to get him. Memphis tried to get him. A lot of people were worried on if he was going to be able to even be in Baton Rouge next year. And then now you got a whole another coordinator on this side, on the offensive side now, who's getting that same love. And you haven't seen that on the offensive side since that Heisman year with Jaden Daniels in 2023 when Mike Denbrock got poached to go to Notre Dame. So it's interesting. If you look at the Eagles and their overall talent, like they got a decent roster. So it's like, as an offensive mind, I wonder what's going on to make him decline. And quite frankly, I'll go out on a limb and just guess with y'all. I think LSU is that good of a damn job where it doesn't matter if it is. Please remember this. The Eagles won the Super Bowl last year. The Eagles are not that far removed from being a competitive team. They had a rough patch this year, if you will. Dog, they got Saquon Barkley still, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown as of right now, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. The defense has pieces that are banging on the other side. It's interesting. It's an interesting decision that I'm going to double down. It goes to show where LSU is at this process, at this point in their journey. They're one of the best college football teams. Hell, they're one of the best football teams, one of the best jobs. It's very hard to compete with this brand right now, even in a recruiting standpoint. I mean, look at them putting together the #1 transfer portal class. It's tough, but I want to say get used to this. Because when you're a top team, when you're entering this part where LSU's finally going to be recognized, okay, they're a threat. Okay, they can go to the playoffs. Lane Kiffin's got them organized. That's going to come with a cost. And the cost will be the same thing that Alabama and Nick Saban had to deal with. The coordinators are getting poached. Matter of fact, y'all all saw the list. Kirby Smart, Lane Kiffin, Dan Lanning, Mario Cristobal, Kurt Signetti, all of them were on Nick Saban's staff. All of them are now head coaches. Some of them are winning national championships. Some of them are fighting in the college football playoffs. When you got the standard, when you got the mark of excellence, and you've already put out a couple of good coordinators, like, look, with Lane, Pete Golding is now a head coach. Jeff Lebby is now a head coach. He's got his own pieces as well that have seen success after being on his staff. So it's something that you're going to get used to for sure. Even Oregon dealt with it, bro. Dan Lanning lost his DC and his OC during the playoff run that they just went on. This is the spot that you're in. And it's not even a new era college football thing. This has been around. It's been around for a while. But hat tip to Charlie Weis for staying. Very, very interesting decision, at least, because, like I said, that's a Super Bowl quality team that he decided to say no to. Now, of course, there could be a lot of things that went on behind the scenes. There could have been a money thing. Maybe they didn't agree on a certain value, but I will really double down on the fact that I think it's because LSU is that good of a job right now, where the Philadelphia Eagles, 1 year removed from a Super Bowl run with the best damn running back in the NFL damn near, Jalen Hurts, you're going to have to work on him a little bit. God bless. But it's an interesting situation. Like, and I agree with you, Kevin. I see you drop that comment in there. LSU's a top 5 job. And I would argue it's a top 5 job in football, not even just college football. I mean, look, this situation right here can make you open your eyes and really gaze at the situation in a whole. I can't lie to you. Let's talk about Jordan Seaton real quick, man. They got it done. Lane Kiffin got it done. Buku this. Had to break that out. Had to break the governor out. Had to break our guy Cookie out. All the stops were pulled in for this one with Jordan Seaton, the offensive tackle transfer from Colorado. But he's here. He signed. He committed. This is LSU's starting tackle right here. Your offensive line got that much better in the blink of an eye, quite frankly. This is one of the biggest harping points all season long was the struggles that LSU had in the trenches, and Lane's put in work in that portal to be able to alleviate those. He's put in work in the portal to alleviate stress at every single hole on this roster. You got 3 of the top 5 prospects. One more time. You've got 3 of the top 5 prospects. You got Sam Levitt, you got Princewell Umamilan, and then you got Jordan Seaton. And the other 2 that I named, since we got 3 of the top 5, there's 2 left. Those 2 are quarterbacks, bro. I mean, you already got your guy in Sam Levitt, so you're not going to grab the other 2 and Swordsby, and I forgot who the other one was. Regardless, though, this has been a hell of an effort, and a lot of people are going to kind of be like, I've seen a number 1 portal class before. I've seen it with a variety. I've seen a number 1 class for A&M in recruiting. I've seen a number 1 portal class in Ole Miss a few years ago. LSU got the number 1 portal class last year. It doesn't always translate. But what is going to be the kicker here? What's going to be the thing that pushes LSU into championship territory? I think it's going to be the foundation that you're building. I think it's going to be the fact that I'll even double down on the Sam Levitt signing in and of itself. I think that could be the biggest one of them all, just because you've got your quarterback now and you've got your quarterback for the future in Hassan Longstreet. And quite frankly, let's be hypothetical. If Hassan Longstreet leaves and Sam Levitt stays, it's still a better situation because you are having options to put yourself in a spot next year where you're digging in the portal again for a quarterback, maybe multiple. It's stress for no reason. Why not do the work now, do the due diligence now, get the backup, get Hassan Longstreet on campus, put him in the system, get him a year under his belt, potentially some garbage time minutes. Maybe in the case of an injury, he gets out there and plays. Knock on wood. Hopefully you don't have to deal with that. That's my biggest jewel in the crown, feather in the cap, whatever you want to say, is those 2 quarterbacks that you got in. Sure, the offensive tackles are nice, and all the wide receivers that you brought in are nice. The biggest boost I think you give to your team is the fact that you know who your quarterback is and who the torch will get passed to, because it's the equivalent to Jaden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier. There wasn't panic setting in when Jaden Daniels declared for the NFL draft after his phenomenal Heisman year. We knew who the guy taking the torch was. We knew Garrett Nussmeier was waiting in the room, learning, all this good stuff. Like getting into the starting position as a quarterback, you have to be very good within the ears. That comes with a lot of preparation. That comes with a lot of, I don't want to say experience. Sometimes you can get a 1 year off quarterback. There's been a lot of freshman quarterbacks that have come out, or even rookie quarterbacks in the NFL that have balled. So sometimes experience can get overblown, but I do think experience in a system and having 1 year in a room like a Hassan Longstreet could benefit him for being able to exponentially grow, hit his potential, hit his stride, get all those little things, the characteristics, the little traits that they want to get off of him during this next 12-month period. And he might be able to have an easier runway than a Michael Van Buren, who got thrown out there to the Wolves before he was able to even get into checking. And now he's not even on the roster anymore. Now he's not even an option. I like that LSU has options. If you don't have options, it can get out of hand really, really quickly. Another one I like is TJ Dowdery. And I advocated for TJ a lot because, one, I like the way he communicates. I think those type of things don't get talked about enough. Everybody wants to talk about a stat sheet. Everybody wants to talk about, the sexy stuff that comes with the football game, but they don't understand the communication side of it. The fact that TJ is making sure everybody on his side of the ball is lined up in the right spot, understands the keys to the play, what's about to happen. And then, bro, he's leading the SEC in tackles. And then he's got great energy to a point where it's like, man, that's somebody that you want on your team. 100%. No way to slice it other than that. Now, with Jordan Seaton, I want to bring this up as well, because this was a topic of discussion for him for a little bit, was the fact that he could potentially not do spring ball because there's the enrollment. People were saying on Tuesday was the deadline. Oh, now it's pushed to Thursday. And then Thursday passes and Seaton signs Friday night. And then now Matt Moscano reports he will enroll and he will participate in spring ball. That there is going to be some type of movement, if you will. There's going to be something that gets cleared to be able to let Jordan Seaton suit up for the Tigers in the spring. That's big. That's huge because a lot of people are worrying, all right, well, now he's got a condition by himself. Now he's got to show up to campus in shape and all this good stuff. But the continuity of the offensive line, I think, is one of the most important things to hash out during that spring period. Being able to get all your personnel in. I know Braylon Moore is starting, and we know Weston Davis is starting, and we know Jordan Seaton is starting, but those guard positions, or even the fact that Jordan is going to be at left tackle and Weston's at right, maybe we're going to be able to swap some of those around. Let's figure it out. I'd imagine that's how it would be, but just the ability to be able to plug and play different groups and different lineups in spring is huge. From a depth standpoint, like I said, from a continuity standpoint, you just get to play around with stuff. So this is going to be one of the biggest headlines, I think, besides him obviously signing. You also can kind of tell just everybody's committed right now in terms of everybody in the building for LSU is focused on not only getting a good portal class, but just putting everything together and having a successful run. It's not like friction, or they're not able to get some things done, or they're butting heads, or there's a money conflict. There's no conflict. There's not even a conflict with the damn governor, dog. You got Lane Kiffin tweeting at Jeff Landry, that's our governor. And Jeff saying, that's our coach. I mean, they got an inseparable connection. Shit, he brought Jordan Seaton to go meet the governor. They did lunch at the governor's mansion. Like, not only do you have the state university moving a deadline to let this player come in and actually be eligible to play for spring ball, you got the governor sitting alongside of him talking NIL probably. It don't get more focused than this, at least, in my opinion. It's number one portal class now. Got to do what you got to do to get number one. Got to do some things. Got to break off some bread. It is back-to-back years with the number one portal class, though. So now we want to see some results. Now we want to see them actually produce, if you will. But it'll be interesting. Jordan Seaton, 3 of the top 5 prospects. Lane Kiffin, hat tip, man. You did it. You did what you said you do. I gave you some credit for that. Let's talk LSU women's basketball real quick, man. Kim Mulkey, Coach Mulkey, preparing the Lady Tigers for a game tonight versus Florida at 6 p.m. There is the winter storm, like our guy Damon said. Hope everybody's staying warm. My dude is snowed in. He must be in the north, dog. Damon, stay warm, bro. Stay warm. It don't matter, though. Kim Mulkey getting them ready. Rain, winter storm, ice. It don't matter. It don't matter. Lady Tigers going to roll out there. I can't lie. They're 17-2, number 6 team in the nation, number 4 in the SEC. The Gators, not so hot. 13-8. 13th in the SEC. If you look at the overall rankings, number 1, UConn, 18-0. Number 2, South Carolina, 19-1. Number 3, UCLA, 17-1. Number 4, Texas, 19-2. And number 5, Vandy, 18-0. It's interesting because if you look at South Carolina and UCLA, they only have 1 loss each. They're both to Texas. Texas obviously lost to LSU at home, which is big. Texas also split a series with South Carolina because Texas has 2 losses, one to LSU, one to South Carolina recently. They went 1-1 each, both very close games. I think it was 2 points the first one, 3 points the second one. I like those 2 teams. I like the whole conference, quite frankly, because if you look at the top 4, it'll be South Carolina, Texas, Vandy, LSU, and Kentucky's floating real close at the bottom. LSU's already dropped to Vandy, and Kentucky, of course, they beat Texas. They're going to have a game versus South Carolina here in about a month. It's an interesting look. I like the depth that they got. If you look at the statistics, LSU women's basketball has 7 players averaging double-digit points. Top 3 scorers are Flage, Full, Wiley, and Michaela. Those are all your guards. It makes sense. Ball dominant position. You got some forwards getting active in there as well, though. You got 3 forwards with double-digit points. You got Kate Koval, Amaya Joyner, Grace Knox. I want to highlight this, though. Jada Richard in this transition into this next year, on fire. 8 points per game, 3 assists. And she's the 3rd guard off the bench. She's coming in the second group. And a lot of people are going to say 8-3. That ain't that good. 8 points, 3 assists. Here's how I'm going to frame it. 14 points per game because 3 assists, 2 points per bucket. 3 times 2 is 6. She's scoring 8. 8 plus 16 is obviously 14. She's responsible for 14 points a game off the bench. There are like probably 3 players on the men's team that are responsible for that amount of points per night. I just want to put that in perspective. And that's your backup guard, your backup guard. Because Full, Wiley, and Flage are going to be really your 2 most ball-dominant guards in the entirety of this run. So for her to still be able to come to the top and show this, that's going to be someone that takes the torch, quite frankly, in my opinion. And I don't think Michaela Williams is getting talked about enough here because Flage and Full, Wiley are obviously your flashy players here. That could be your most consistent scorer in Michaela. With what you're able to do with her, with how you're able to put her in the scheme, with the type of shots she can make. It doesn't matter if you're in her face, on the elbow, at the 3. She can even come down low and get to the cup. So I'm really impressed with the depth. The number one word I will use with this team, depth. I expect them to get a crushing win today. And I think they can keep it pushing. I think this is a Final Four season for them potentially. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and put national title pressure on them, but they have what it takes from a scoring standpoint, from a defensive standpoint. I like how you're not stressed and having to keep players out there for the entirety of the game, for the bulk of the game. You can have somebody alleviate and have another mouth to feed come in. Men's team, though, I got nothing to be proud about. I'm sorry. You won halftime against Arkansas. There's that. Arkansas shot 45% from the free throw line and still beat LSU men's basketball. I don't know what you do. Actually, I do. I do know what you do. It's about to say I don't know what you do with this team. I do. There's a tough decision you have to make. There's no choice. They're 13-7, 1-6 in SEC play. I don't need to spell it out anymore. They had a little bit of an edge at halftime. They blew it. Yeah, you're going to be in the coaching search for a new men's basketball coach. And I know we talked about it on Friday. Will Wade, all this good stuff. It's an expensive decision. It's an expensive decision. You just watched LSU throw together, what, $30 to $40 million on a football team? Buy out Brian Kelly, hire Lane Kiffin, get the whole staff. Now we're about to buy out the basketball staff and then buy a whole, championship caliber one. That's a lot of money. A lot of money. Nike going to have to come with another check here, I guess. I don't know. It has to happen. I think more than likely they go with an unproven guy that they can get on a cheap deal, but it's weird because they tried to get Matt McMahon to do that and prove himself, and it didn't work out. So you're taking that same exact approach again here with this, but I don't know. It'll be interesting because it's like with Will Wade, God bless. And I'm not trying to say nothing about him. I love Will Wade. It was the first person I've ever interviewed, so it's like I always have a cool connection with him. But what if you do all this, buy him out, bring him to LSU, and the success don't happen? What if? I'm not trying to say it will, and I don't want to be negative, but it's worth a devil's advocate thought. What if you bring him over here, buy him out? You got to buy Matt out for like $10 million. We broke that contract down on Friday. You owe him $2.5 a year. There's 4 years left on the deal, counting the one coming up next. You're going to owe him around 10. And then you're going to have to buy out Will, hypothetically, for like 4 to 5. And then whatever it takes to hire him and then build that roster. You're looking at a $20 million project for men's basketball. It's just, I don't know if it's worth it, in my opinion. Not when the risk is there. American Patriot, what's up, dog? I see you in the chat talking about Will Wade in hot water. Yeah, bro. Yeah, you don't want to bring him over here at LSU and have that happen because then the decisions that are being made will be questioned heavily. But I want to say this. It is interesting thinking about, bad contracts, talking about Jimbo Fisher, Brian Kelly, Scott Woodward doing both of them. He did the Matt McMahon one too. 7-year deal. They're about to have to buy a basketball coach out for $10 million who can't win 2 SEC games, which is very, very interesting. American Patriot. Oh, my God. He said FBI is investigating point shaving against 3 teams making these plays. Arrests already been made. Dude, I'm seeing so much about this gambling stuff. I'll tell you, I know gambling's rigged. I thought the refs were doing it, though. I thought it was the refs. I thought it was a little boop, pass interference, defense. I thought it'd be some stuff like that. Not players on the team. Whenever Keishawn Boutte, all that stuff came out, that was my first oh, we're going to have a problem here. I'm sure it'll, keep getting better and better and better in terms of entertainment-wise, but hopefully they're able to slow this down because it's going to get to a point where that sports betting is getting changed, getting monitored, quite frankly. I can't lie. Damon said they had to pay McMahon because of the state of the program. That's a good point because you lost every scholarship player. And that's another thing that I want to bring up here. And I said it on Friday, but I want to say it again because I just gave him some flack. He inherited a horrible, horrible situation. That is true. 2 things can be true. He's not the man for the job right now, though. But I do see that point. Let's talk about the Super Bowl real quick, and I'm going to hop out of here. Our guy, Will Campbell, headed to the big game. Will Campbell, Braden Swinson, Clavion Chasson, Keishawn Boutte on the Patriots, Anthony Bradford on the other side with the Seattle Seahawks. Look, I want to talk about Will Campbell here because he's getting hated a lot. A lot. People are just scrutinizing him. I want to say he's a rookie at left tackle in the NFL, running to the Super Bowl. There's going to be moments where there's mistakes. There's going to be moments where he gives up a sack or there's a false start, whatever the case may be. It's going to happen. Now, the response he's getting, I think, is an indication of, 1, how good everybody expects him to be, the potential that we see with him, too, what he showed through the first, 13 weeks of the year. He's performed really well, and people have high expectations for him. So it says more positively, at least I think, about Will Campbell than it does negatively. Another thing, you got to flash back to week 12, that MCL sprain. That is something that I think not a lot of people are talking about. You were worried that week on if he was even going to play ball again for the rest of the season. Sprained MCL, nothing to play with. It was a grade 3 sprain. He missed like 6 weeks. He didn't come back to the end of the season. Yeah, week 18 for the playoff push. And he's playing through it right now. That's got to affect some of the speed, some of the get off. Just this guy's a dog. That's what I want to get at. He's a rookie doing this on a blindside spot versus phenomenal defenses too. Please keep that in mind. The last 2 defenses that they faced, insane. Broncos, heavy pass rush. Texans, number 1 defense in the NFL. The Chargers, even in the first game, had Khalil Mack against him. He's been going up against dogs over and over and over, getting tested. They know he's one of the weakest parts of the line. They know that he's hurt. They know that he's a rookie, and they're coming after him in prime time over and over and over and over. And quite frankly, is he messing up? Sometimes, yes. They're getting the job done, though. They're winning. I mean, look, next game they got, I think is going to be one of the most pivotal ones of them all, because Seattle's defense is very, very good as well. I'm going to go to war for Will Campbell, though. I think that he is a stand-up guy, stand-up player. And Bryce playing through injury in one of the toughest parts of the entire football season, the playoffs. That's when the defense gets the best. That's when it's tough. Look at all the total points for these games in terms of betting. It's 40, 43, this, that, 30-something. They don't think the offenses are doing shit. And it's because the defenses are fighting tooth and nail to be able to get anybody off the field, whether it be Will Campbell, Drake May, whatever the case may be. And if Will, in his rookie season, can play through an MCL sprain all the way to the Super Bowl, Lord knows what he's going to do for you through his entire career. Shout out Will Campbell. No more scrutiny for our guys, man. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. I'm about to hop out of here. I'll see y'all Wednesday. AP said he's not used to the new time, man. I know. I'm not used to the new time either, bro. I ain't even going to lie to you. Damon, Coco, Kevin, appreciate everybody. AP, thank y'all. Y'all have a good rest of your day. This has been the Verdin Verdict. I'm your guy, Jacob Verdin.